Hello, welcome to another episode on the channel Living the Dream Tom. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for finding us, and thanks for watching. Hope you've possibly already subscribed and liked some of the other videos, and that's how you got led onto this one. So if you didn't, please like, subscribe and share if you can, as I keep saying, and hopefully I won't have to say this for too much longer. When I say it's a brand new channel, I actually started doing the first videos about a year ago. Time flies, as we know, but anyway, let's get on with it. Today, anyway, what we're going to be doing is planting the garlic that we grew. Bring it up to your camera now to show you. This is the garlic that we grew last year in the garden, that now, this time of year, is just starting to go to what we call sprouting. So I've already, I've already planted some of last year's harvest as seed, and that's something we're going to talk about, saving our seeds in the name of permaculture and being self-sufficient and ready for the shops to close again, possibly one day. But anyway, garlic, we plant it after we've grown it. We harvest it about the summer solstice, so about the middle of the third week of June here in the UK, in the south of the UK, and then we plant it again. It's recommended, or it used to be, to plant it for the following season in December on the winter solstice. I try and get mine in a little bit earlier than that, so about October some of this went in. It wasn't sprouting then. I'll show you in future videos when we get up to the veg garden how that's getting on anyway. But the rest of it is in storage. It's been stored in there, and I say some of it is still not gone to sprout, and some of it has already rotted. So I'm going to put this in the new raised bed, which I've showed you in the last videos, but that's where you're on now, on the camera, on the tripod, or on the raised bed. So first of all, we'll go and get some garlic out of the store, and I'll show you that, and then we're going to plant the rest of it round our new herb bed. We'll go and get last year's crop of garlic. My little totem, used to guard the old gypsy bender. Oh, it's lovely and cool in there. And what I've done, as it was starting to go a little bit damp, I put some sawdust in amongst it to try and stop it rotting. But I haven't looked at this in I took a little bit out about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but loads of it started to sprout, which is a lot better than it rotting. So some of it's still usable in there. I mean, it's still usable when it's gone sprouting green like this. It's not it's obviously growing and not rotted. There's quite a lot in there. Definitely, there's some of the local, I got this from the local veg shop, they grow it locally, but that was more of a purple variety, but that's definitely rotted more than the white variety. But anyway, yeah, the white variety is still nice and tough. Anyway, let's go and get this in the garden. Okay, I'll bring you in. Okay, I'll bring you in quite close for this one. Sorry, what I could do with is a cameraman, woman or other, to have the camera up there now. I don't know if I'd get a tripod. It's quite difficult getting tripods out when you're moving around. Anyway, what I'm going to do, it's a little bit heavy, that is, where it's been raining for weeks and weeks on end. And I think what we'll do is we'll just, the garlic's not going to, I'll just do one row to show you. So just loosening the soil up like that and just leveling it down and just taking off any small bits. Sorry, Tom. Then what we're going to do, we'll take our garlic like this to anything that's sprouting, and it's a little bit like apples. I heard someone say, which on a video, which is a really good way to say it, I think. You don't want to be bruising them, okay? So just take your thumb in one side, 2 thumbs in one side, and just split them in half first of all, like that. Okay, that means you don't have to squash all of the cloves. And then this is just the easiest thing you can do. And permaculture, self-sufficiency, where we love stuff that we can collect the seed from and grow again really easily. One of the best ones, I suppose, is your beans and your peas, your runner beans and your peas. Really easy to collect the seeds from, but everything else is possible. I'm going to show you how to collect the seeds from your herbs, from your carrots, from your cabbage, all of your brassicas, because yeah, if the shops were to close, and people say that was ridiculous, in the last sort of 50 years, people would say that was a ridiculous concept until we had the COVID lockdown. And then, like a lot of people were saying, they thought they'd only be able to get food if they grew it. And yeah, luckily I already had a small vegetable garden, but during that time I extended that to the size it is now for full self-sufficiency or near self-sufficiency. Anyway, sorry, I keep saying I'm just going to try and do the detail on this, but I go back and look at the editing and I think, oh, I could edit that out. And then I thought, oh, did I say something then that was possibly really useful? And I just too much information, sorry. But this is obviously, if you've watched a few videos, not a channel for, did they say, the sort of TikTok viewers, sorry, without being detrimental to TikTok viewers, but people with a more shorter attention span. This is not cinematic photography. I don't know whatever it's described as. I'm still waffling on again, aren't I? But hopefully, yeah, if you're into information and learning from someone who's really done it for years and years and years and years and years without a massive budget, without being able to just drive a Land Rover in there with a trailer and just being able to unload all of the resources in the world. Someone who started off with nothing. I started my last business, I think, with £100, and I moved here with £1 in my pocket, I think. But yeah, so there we go. Anyway, growing garlic. This would be for the short edit version. Anyway, how to grow garlic from seed or from the garlic cloves that you've collected and grown from the year before, or thrown out in the supermarket possibly, or in the veg skip at the greengrocers, because if they've gone like this, they'll be throwing them away. Anyway, really simple to grow. Split the cloves, lay them down about, and what you want to do is try and, we're going to grow all of these because there's no point wasting them now, but earlier on in the year, when I put most of these in the veg garden in October, I would have only selected the largest cloves for this. But we've got plenty of room, and there's loads more room up in the veg garden. I can put the rest of it in, but I thought a nice little bit in here anyway for variety. And all we want to do is just lay it down with about a fistful, I don't know, 3 or 4 fingers between each one. Lay it down, lay it down. You put those down like that, and then all it is a case of is, if your soil's really loose like it is like this, if it's a little bit harder, get something like anything like a little stone or a stick or something, and just make a depression in there, I suppose about half the depth of your thumb, or the depth of the clove of garlic, probably be an easier way of doing it, and that stops you squashing it down. But this is very sandy like soil, so it's just really easily, you just push in and just push them down so the top of the clove is just poking out the soil, and they'll immediately find that nutrients. And then in between them, what we do, we normally plant, we don't plant directly in front of or behind the next one, we do them on a kind of a star shape, or if you were looking at that, you could draw a triangle, but in between each one corresponding. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're looking at it and it will make sense. But yeah, we just do that, and say with this one, some of these, we just put them in and we just push those down like that. The netting also helps as well afterwards. If you're doing this out in the garden, try and put some sort of netting on them first of all for the first couple of weeks till they've really rooted in. I notice blackbirds especially seem to like pulling them up and digging them up. But there's some of the purple varieties. You can see that one's already got quite a long tail on it. So they're not going to take too long to grow at all. And what I'll do is I'll go through the best of this. This is still really hard. That variety, I mean, really what we want to do is grow, when you're starting off, grow a few different varieties of each vegetable and see what does best growing, and take into considerations obviously the conditions that year, but also what stalls. We will have an abundance soon come spring and summer at the end of autumn of food to eat, but going into winter, what we're in now, that's the kind of thing I was definitely focusing on last year, was being able to store your own food through winter when it really matters, when there's not much else. Okay, that's the crucial part. So anyway, I'm going to finish this now, put a load of them in here because we've got the space, and I'm saying hopefully not just besides culinary herbs this year, we'll have some tomatoes and chilies in here because it's a nice little sun trap here by the cabin. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that little bit on harvesting, growing and storing and producing garlic self-sufficiently at home for years to come. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this if you're on other social media platforms. And at the end of the video, as always, there's a QR code for buying me a coffee, and some of that money will go for buying Tom the cat, obviously. It's his channel. He has to have a bag of Dreamies, which are little tiny biscuit treats, which if you're watching, shout out to my cousin Phil. He got Tom into those, but yeah, didn't live off them, but we would like a little bit of a treat now and again. Anyway, link to buy me a coffee and a link to the Patreon page, and I'll maybe have to put a membership tier on the Patreon page just for Tom and his Dreamy biscuits. That's a good idea. Anyway, please like, subscribe and share. It's a new channel. It'll only grow with your support, your comments and your thoughts and your feedback. Thanks very much for watching.